Okay, so the current iteration is this. We know that we've got a score because every time I click on one, I've got a trace statement going out. I've had a little fiddle with a score, and rather than timesing it by 100, I've times it by 10 instead. It keeps the scores a little bit more meaningful. Like the really, really easy ones to hit shouldn't be getting like 100 or whatever for those. So we're getting 14, 20, 10-ish. Low scores. Now we need to link that to the stage. So if I go back to the code and show you where the score is first declared, so it starts off as 0, and then in remove circle, which happens when we've clicked on one of them, we change the score, and currently we trace the score out. We're tracing the score out is just something you do for development purposes. It's what you do when you're debugging things to find out if something's working before you take it any further, or to fix problems that occur that you were unaware of. So in this point here, I'm going to put a little comment in. Update score text field. But first off, I need to create a score text field. And so using the text tool, moves out of the way a little bit, you'll see in properties, although you can't read it, there's a drop down. In that drop down, you've got static, dynamic, and input. Now, we're not inputting text into a text field, and it's not static because it's going to change. So we're choosing dynamic text. Once we create that text field, I mean, usually what would you do with a score? Put it at the top or maybe at the bottom. You maybe have a bar where it's like out of the way. I'll give that a size of maybe, I don't know, 24 to start off with. It doesn't need to be huge. And the little white box at the bottom corner, which I can double click on, which should make it the right size. So basically creating a text box, giving it an instance name. So a meaningful instance name for this would just be score_txt. So as with our other instance names where we've used _MC to say that it's a movie clip, in this case, score_txt stands for text field. Put that over the top. Needs to be a light color to stand out from everything else. You can maybe choose a fun font if you want, but I'm just going to leave it as Verdana for now to start off with. So in my actions, I need to refer to that text field. So to test that that's working, what I'm going to do is score_txt.text, there's blue, equals, and then in speech marks, I'm just going to put the word score : space. I'm not actually going to put the numbers on just yet. I just want to make sure that I've got some text to go to that point. So that won't work until I click on a bubble. Have we got any bubbles? Well, it's telling me off for not embedding my fonts. Okay. That's not really something that should break it. But we will fix it. Okay, so I need to embed the typeface, uppercase, lowercase, numerals, and punctuation. Okay, test that now. Undefined property. My bad. Score_txt. As the bubbles go up, if I manage to finally click on one, you'll see at the top right the word score appears. Now, I want score to be there the whole time, really. But that proves that we can send something to a score field, to a text field, and that can be updated as and when we click on something. I also need to change what is a number into what's known as a string. A string is just a string of characters. It's got no meaning, whereas a number is something you can do mathematical operations with, as we have been doing. But for me to put it into the text field, I need it to be what's known as a string. And that's as easy as going score, string, sorry, to string. And that should then change that number into a string. I can add it on doing this, score string, then hopefully test that. Oops, it's telling me off for now. Undefined property score string. Good point. Need to declare that first. Var score string string. There we go. So it's pushing out the score at the moment, but it's not getting bigger. It's just giving me the score for the individual thing that I'm clicking on. That's because I've got score equals the points, and what I need to do is to tell it make it bigger, plus equals. So it's like add this onto what it already is. Then when I start doing it, it should get bigger. I mean, there's those bubbles that you'll never ever catch on a computer with a mouse, but you'd probably have a better chance with on a touchscreen. So you can just about make out the score there, apart from it's not the greatest color to do it with. So just so you can see it working, I'll change that to a yellow, make the typeface bigger. You make that out now? It says 1, 2, 3. That's because the text field is not long enough to contain all of the characters. Suspect. There we go. That's pretty much the whole game without the timer. So for you, what you need to do now is create the text field. It's a dynamic text field. Give it that instance name. And then just make the slight amendments here to get it working. And I'll stop there.